Hello everybody, this is Hammer Striker here. This gun has been on the channel before. This is the Springfield Lightweight Operator 1911, chambered in .45. I guess what everybody would consider the proper caliber for a 1911. We've had a number of requests for an update on how is this thing holding up. The video that we first featured this in was about 6 years ago, one of the first videos we did, and I'm going to kind of just show how well it's doing today. Back when we did that first video, neither one of us had very many guns, so it got a lot of attention. It spent a lot of time at the range because when you've only got a few, you shoot the ones you've got a lot. We haven't fired it as much lately, doing other things with the channel and other guns. To both of us, these are nice range guns. They're nice to look at, they're nice to shoot at the range. For concealed carry and defensive purposes, we tend to choose different things, but that doesn't mean this can't be used as a defensive weapon. People use 1911s to this day, and so there's nothing wrong with it. It's just the polymer ones are lighter, higher capacity, smaller, and give you a lot more flexibility. But these are still very nice and very reliable. As far as reliability goes, this one has been flawless. And from a 1911 perspective, they have the capability to be reliable, but they're kind of like muscle cars. They're effective, they're solid, they're robust, but they like to frequently be shown that you love them with tuning and tweaking. So I've got other 1911s that I've had to tweak and tune extractors and ejectors and springs and stuff like that. It's kind of, with the platform, it is a little bit temperamental at times. Not this one. This one you just feed it and clean it, and it just works. Haven't really had to do anything with it other than feed it and clean it. I'm not going to redo that entire review, but I am just going to kind of give you the highlights. It's got a Picatinny rail. First off, we'll indicate that it is a non-bitey version of it. Comes with two of these 7-round magazines, these black 7-round magazines, and these magazines have worked quite well. But it's also worked well with every other magazine, Wilson Combat, Colt magazines, and other magazines from other 1911s. It's worked quite well with as well. It is a full-size 1911, so it has a 5-inch barrel. It's 8.5 inches long, 5.5 inches tall, and 1911s tend to be fat little things, so it's about 1.5 inches thick. This particular one has 3-dot fiber optic sights that make it a lot easier to see. They also have this version of it with the night sights. They come with tritium night sights, which for me, they tend to gray out. All tritium night sights tend to gray out, so I tend to either go with a fiber optic or tritium fiber optic, which combines the benefits of both. But this particular one has these fiber optics, and they're really nice sights, especially for range. They're really easy to see, get a good lock on. It has a very nice trigger. Now, it does have a grip safety, and it does have the little protrusion that pretty much guarantees that no matter what, it's going to disengage. I have a tendency to not like these in general. They tend to bite in right in here, in that meaty part of the hand, but this one doesn't. The other thing I've noticed with this, it is a lightweight. It's got a forged aluminum frame and stainless steel upper, the barrel, and the slat are all stainless steel. So it's a little lighter at about 33 or 34 ounces than a typical 1911, but it handles .45 quite well. It's a nice, smooth pushback recoil, very pleasant to shoot, and actually quite nice to look at. The finish that you can see is holding up well. Now, I have not exposed this to holster wear because it hasn't been used for that purpose, but you're looking at probably a 7-year-old gun here, and if I told you I just bought this today, you really wouldn't have anything on here to tell you that that's not true. It's got a nice skeletonized trigger, and it is a 1911, so it's got about a 4.5 pound trigger, and it's a really short, crisp break. I'm not going to let it dry fire, but that was the entire travel. So there's the take up, and then right there it broke, and the hammer started to move. So it is just an awesome trigger. Nice smooth pull straight back, no hanging up, no dragging. It just works. It makes it really easy to stay right on target, and that is one of the beauties of a 1911. So next thing I'll do is I'll take it apart and show you the internals, show you where there is some minimal finish wear on the main touch points, but nothing that I would consider to be concerning. So of course you always double check that it's unloaded, flick the safety on. This particular one has a GI guide rod, so you don't need special tools to disassemble it. There are versions of this with a full-size guide rod. And flip it back. Oops, I forgot to take care of that. Get it lined up. And it happens to be, that guide rod, by the way, happens to be a Wilson Combat. Now, sometimes these can be a little temperamental to take apart. So let me show you the frame first. You notice the frame rails are in excellent condition. That's actually not wear, that's just the studio lights glaring on it. It is actually, the finish is intact, so you're seeing the studio lights glaring on the oil. There's really no discernible wear whatsoever. There's just a hint in some places where it's the black coating has just a hint of thinning. But that's normal. Those are wear parts. Those are the things that are definitely going to wear over time, especially with quite a few rounds. There's just a hint of wear on the barrel hood. The lugs are all solid. They've got crisp edges. The barrel itself looks almost brand new. And this, of course, is another wear spot on a 1911. The feed ramp is in excellent condition. And I didn't get it as clean as I should have when I was cleaning it. And then if you look inside the slide, you'll see there's no wear on the slide guides. And I'll also show you the internal of the barrel. The rifling's in excellent condition. Now, it is a stainless barrel and is really good, nice crisp rifling. It's kind of hard to actually see the rifling because it's all the same color, so it doesn't really stand out. But I can tell you that this gun is in excellent condition. You would look at this and think that it may have been test fired a couple times, but you wouldn't necessarily think that this had been actually used to the extent we initially used it, and then sat around. You know, we went to the range occasionally, but it spent a lot of time in the safe in the past, let's say, 5 years or so. And there's nothing about this gun that would tell you that that's the case. There's no reason to think that it had been used. So if you're looking for a good quality 1911, one that's going to hold up well, then this is a good choice. And poof, the gun was reassembled, but basically what happened is the barrel toggle didn't want to come out to play, so I had to wiggle it around a bit to get that into position. 1911s aren't the things that I take apart and put together on a daily basis, so sometimes I'll make a mistake in a few of the steps. But it's back together. The only problem that I was going to point out is the little retention pin here on this gun is really tight. So what I end up having to do is put this right in position and then come up underneath it like this with a pick to push that back a bit so that it'll snap in place. Otherwise, you know, normally on a 1911 you can just kind of push past it and it'll snap. But this one has really good retention, and I don't want to slip and put an idiot scratch on it. So I'll reach under it with the pick and push it back enough that the rounded end of it is exposed to this, and then it'll snap into place, and then I'll end up with an idiot scratch. So if you're looking for a 1911 that's a little lighter, you know, with the alloy frame, and durable, solid, and reliable, and is going to hold up for quite a few years, this would be a good choice. This one has been well taken care of. It was shot a lot in the beginning. It's been kept in a climate-controlled environment, so it hasn't been exposed to nastiness. So I can't tell you how well this would hold up if you abuse it. But if you just take reasonable care of it, this one has held up quite well. And it's fun to shoot. It's easy to shoot well. The hardware accuracy of this one seems to be very, very good. It's repeatable. So overall, it's been a good gun. It's not the least expensive thing on the planet, but it's also not as expensive as many of the bespoke Wilson Combats and stuff like that, where you can get into a few $1,000s. So for a relatively reasonable amount of money, you can get a very nice 1911. One thing I almost forgot to mention, this does have ambidextrous safety. And it's a nice wide safety. It's easy to catch. It's easy to operate. So, of course, you have to have the gun cocked. It's a 1911. It has to be cocked and locked. But you'll see it's easy to operate. And overall, it's just been a good gun. If you like our videos, please give us a thumbs up, share, subscribe, click that bell up there to be notified if you do. Check us out on Facebook, Patreon, Instagram, kind of pretty much everywhere. Thank you.